Morning all. Just a little bit of homework first of all. Can I just say on my Facebook page, there's 6 lovely ladies appeared all of a sudden. They all appeared to be Russian models. And we all know what they get up to if we've been to Dubai. So I don't know where they've come from, and they're nothing to do with me because my only fans are Wyn Smethurst and Barbara Bell. I don't need anybody else. Wonderful ladies. Very critical though. You know, it's an age thing, I think. Can't believe it. I'm being bullied. Yeah, I know. Never thought it had ever happened. Never has. And lo and behold, I published that little book with 2 others, as can be seen. And suddenly, out of the blue, I did that in 2013 actually. Out of the blue, we've got legal representatives of the woman who wrote 50 Shades of Grey telling me to take my title down because it's infringing their trademark. And you know, as stupid as it is. So we're making plans, we're taking it down. I wanted to say get on with it because I've got sod all they can have. So anyway, Amazon and the publisher didn't agree because they happen to have a few quid. So we're taking it down and we're going to call it Shades of Black and Blue. So everyone will know what it means, but that'll be it. Can't get your breath, can you? Hey, get a life. As simple as I am, simple everywhere actually, mentally, living, you name it, I'm simple. But anyway, I seem to have bright spark now and again. It just occurred to me that I could help Ukraine. They're being piled up with tank-busting missiles when really they don't need it, because what they're doing is the Russians apparently are waiting till the snow hardens because their tanks bog down in mud, can you believe? So why don't they spray all the approaches with salt? The snow will melt, they'll bog the tanks down, then they'll be sitting targets. And if you can't do that, because it's such a big area, surely they can run a pipeline of seawater, dead quick, dead easy, spray that all over it, one tank over it, bump, all the rest sinking. Now come on Ukraine, beat that. Actually, I sent a text to Boris on that one this morning and just showed Kay Burley as an interested party, so we'll see what happens with that. I've suddenly started researching other areas of the police force. And what do we find? We find Channel 5, Sky Max, Sky Star, 5 Star, whatever they call themselves, are all featuring police programmes. And they're all drivers in flash police cars, plain police cars, hurtling up and down the motorways and the streets thereby. So we get programmes like Motorway Cops, Catching Britain's Speeders, there's exciting, Road Wars, The Force Newcastle, Traffic Cops, The Force Manchester, and Interceptors. Well, that's Derbyshire, who are well known for doing sod all anywhere else, so they got themselves a load of cars and they keep ramming people off the road, as do the rest of them. Now, I had intended really to name names and series and episodes, but then it would have got boring and Wyn Smethurst would have had a go at me. So we'll try and keep it relatively short, this. So, like I'm training the Ukraine army, I think I'll just offer a bit of advice to the police force generally, all 160,000 of them at the pointed end throughout the UK. Now, you've got a lot of senior officers who couldn't arrange a piss up in a brewery, certainly couldn't arrest an angry man, and prefer to hide behind so many of you, as you all know. So what happens is these fellas driving these fast cars don't really get trained properly. So they're given permission now to ram people off the road with police cars, causing no end of thousands of pounds worth of damage. Ram them into other people's cars and all that. Well, I've said that before, so we'll go on. And they get them out of the cars, and there's always, God knows how many police cars suddenly turn up out of nowhere. Everybody gets out, batters the fella to the floor, handcuffs him, and then, remember George Floyd kneeling on his neck? You see filmed episodes of them kneeling on heads, kneeling on necks. Headlock the other night until he realised the camera was watching him and he took the headlock off. Crying out loud. And then, of course, you get this 17 years service brain dead individual from Cheshire who never goes in the police station. He goes off in his car with his butties, doing all his wonderful works, and then it just comes back, gets on his moped and goes home. Never mingles with other officers in the canteen, never learns what's going on. So you see him now out there, never cautioning people, you're not obliged to say anything, blah, 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 which he must do. But being so long in the tooth, he decided to go back to the old days when he only said you did it, but didn't do it. So anyway, he does that. He never searches anybody properly. And then the other night, another programme, long in the tooth officer, again, happy to boast about his years of brain-dead service, driving up and down in a motorway car, and how they've improved. And anyway, he gets this old guy, my age, looks like he's a bit tipsy, had a bump in a car park, sits him in the back of his car, gives him an in-house breathalyzer in the car. He fails, he's over twice the limit. So he turns away from him, he's there, hands-free, not handcuffed, quite happy, singing and joking and all that, nice bloke. And while our hero is sat in the driver's seat, making his notes and lecturing on drunk driving, the old guy pulls out an asthma ventilator, takes a big blast on it, puts it back in his pockets. Get back to the nick on the desk-bound breathalyzer, totally negative. So, there you go. Out on national television, how to beat the breathalyzer on a police programme. So now we've got God knows how many drunk drivers hurtling about the country, up and down the M6, could you believe? Blasting on ventilators whenever they see a police car. You know, you can't teach them, can you? You just can't. Chubby Cheeks, Malthouse MP, keeps coming back to bite him, doesn't it? One rotten apple when he was talking about Wayne Couzens. Well, there's a couple more added to the list now, kindly collated by Hyton Freeman, old Woody. And who is it? Well, let me have a look. It's Detective Inspector Neil Corbell. Well, take a look at this geezer. Bleeding hell, Detective Inspector. What was he doing? He was setting up cameras in a hotel room, interviewing models and filming them while they were getting changed naked because he was addicted to porn. And he got caught. How did he get caught doing that, for Christ's sake? Anyway, and then, talking about addicted to porn, we've got PC Neil. Is it Neil or Lee? Lee Cunliffe. He's an ex-PC from Manchester because he's in prison now. What he was doing, he was grooming young children on the internet, like you do when you're a pervert. And having got caught, the judge decided to remark that, and I'll read this because it's interesting. He had an altogether unhealthy and perverted sexual interest in young children. Well, that's rich coming from a judge, isn't it? So it must have been serious. And then, as a police officer, the public are entitled to expect you will do all you can to uphold the criminal law. Well, that's only if you're not dealing with Asian paedophiles, of course, Lee, because you get off with it then. the Assistant Chief Constable, all Asian, would help you. So if you could join the 57, you wouldn't have got caught. But no, you got caught, and now you're doing 8 years. That'll be a hard time. Bloody hell, get on with it. Seems to be going on a bit now, Win, so I'll just bring it to an end. Operation Avro, Stockport Division, Greater Manchester Police, decided to run an operation for a day to catch criminals. So what do? They publicise it early in the morning that they're coming round to get you, and then having set up a couple already and watching the houses so they knew they'd get an arrest, they bust a couple of houses, stop a few cars for no insurance and what have you, an odd motorbike committing an offence, and herald it as a great success, and that's it. One day. So if they can do it one day, why can't they do it for 365? Got burglars walking up and down Bramhall High Street here, and never an officer to be seen. Suddenly, Operation Avro. Still didn't see any. Well, you can't when you're in a wheelchair from a window. But anyway, that's another story. So, over and out. Hope they were short and brief enough. Win. Night night.